conversation starts up again. The behemoth enters in a clean shirt and engulfs a bar stool. The men are obviously manual laborers, tough and stringy, hands ingrained with dirt. Everyone's exhausted, surfing on the sugar of alcohol, waiting for the wave to beach them. I buy everyone a drink and move up closer to the big man, who I'll call Emerson. Emerson's pear-shaped head reminds me of a medium-sized bag of laundry with some chins added at the bottom. He works up at the Lazy Boy factory and just came off his shift. Soon it's getting on for midnight when the bar closes. The barflies start to drink faster and faster. Emerson and another man order beers in pairs and down them one after the other with barely a pause for breath. I try to keep up, but it's not possible. How's the moonshine situation down here, I ask, gasping at the gaseous chill of yet another beer coursing down my throat. You want some moonshine? Asks Emerson. He has friendless eyes, a character actor in the play of life, Falstaff without a king. But now there's a certain comradeship. I brought him a drink, he brought me a drink. Damn straight, I say, falling easily into the vernacular. He says he'll get me some tomorrow night. I'll have to go up in the hills and get it, but I'll do it, he says, a little wistfully. I'll pay, I tell him. He waves me aside. You just buy me a drink, we'll talk about that. Be back here around 10 o'clock tomorrow night, and I'll take care of you. I stumble back to my room, so drunk and exhausted, I can't even be bothered to take a jacuzzi. The next morning when I wake up, the light is still on, and I have a monumental hangover. I get dressed and plod across the parking lot to the Frontier Diner, picking up a Dayton Herald News on the way in. Hoping to quell a continuing feeling of dread and disorientation, I order eggs and bacon with biscuit and gravy and settle into the damp, airless greasiness of the place. And I start to read the newspaper. The first thing I see is, Scopes Trial Festival attracts crowds. Funny, I haven't seen any crowds. The first paragraph of the article says that more than 1,000 people viewed the play. What do they mean, viewed? Today is Thursday and tonight is the opening night, so how can anyone have viewed the play? Let alone 1,000 of them. I read the headline again. Scopes Trial Festival attracts crowds. Attracts, present tense. As I read on, however, panic blossoms in the pit of my stomach. The article clearly states that the last performance of the Scopes Trial was on Monday. Last Monday, 3 days ago. I read the article again. Apart from the headline, everything is in the past tense. In 1865, Charles Darwin, who was either a hypochondriac or permanently damaged by his trip on the Beagle, probably the former, wrote a note to his new doctor listing his symptoms. For 25 years, extreme spasmodic daily and nightly flatulence, occasional vomiting, on 2 occasions prolonged during months, vomiting preceded by shivering, hysterical crying, dying sensations or half faint, and very copious, very pallid urine. Now vomiting in every passage of flatulence, preceded by ringing of ears, treading on air, and visions. Focus on black dots, air fatigues, especially risky, brings on the head symptoms. A trifle compared to how I'm feeling. I pay as fast as I can and rush back to my room. I grab my notebook with the tickets pinned inside, and with churning stomach head for the bathroom. I sit there and stare in horror at the tickets. They were for last weekend. I'm a week late. The central event of my book lies irretrievably in the past. And it won't happen again for another 360 days. I start walking around the room, banging into the jacuzzi and muttering, how did this happen? How did I make this incredible mistake? What the hell am I going to do? I've told my editor about the idea of spinning the whole book out from the reenactment, the hub from which all the spokes of the book will radiate, and all that bullshit, and he loved it. He loved it. Excellent idea, he said. It gives it a center, it gives it unity. Now there's no center and no unity, and I'm out here floating in a vacuum, incompetent and faint, dots before the eyes, head symptoms, ringing ears. I've even got the copious and pallid urine. A friend of mine taught parachute jumping in California. In every group there was one arrogant man who wouldn't listen to instructions, bragged about his fearlessness, and mocked those more cautious than himself. Sometimes when the time came for this character to make his jump, my friend would say, "Okay, jump!" And then as the man hurled himself from the plane, would yell, "No, wait!" Hopeless though it was, the man would always try to get back into the plane, clawing at the air, trying to turn back time. There must be a way to go back, and yet I know that the Beagle has left for the Galapagos. I just tripped out the door without a chute. I'm irredeemably ruined. This is a disaster. I hurry over to the gas station across the way and buy some cigarettes. Light up, feel sicker. I don't really smoke. I can't handle this. I sit down and consider. But what is there to consider? It's a catastrophe. No way to pretend it isn't. I know how this happened. When I booked the tickets, I was so obsessed by my script, with making money, with staying afloat, with scrabbling for respect and meaning, that I made a rapid and completely erroneous assumption. The real trial ran over 2 weeks, with a weekend in the middle, and I assumed that the weekend of the reenactment would coincide with the date of the last weekend. But even this reasoning does not work. Today is Thursday, July the 23rd. The real trial was completely finished by July 22nd, which was a Tuesday. There is no excuse. A balanced person would have checked the tickets for the play and then booked the flight. I didn't have time. I just snatched up a phone and... Time. This is the problem. I don't have time to reflect. I don't have time to reserve airline tickets on the right day. I don't have time for anything, not even for my own daughter, not even for this book, not even for my own rage. Maybe my brain is being consumed by its unfulfilled ire. The corruption of politics by money, the Pope's attitude to contraception, corporate phone systems which prevent you from speaking to a human being, fat little men who sneer at you around their cigars, the barbarity of the death penalty. I could go on. So many peeves, large and small, locked corrosively inside my brain because I have no time to vent them. Late. It's astonishing I got down here at all. I'll have to lie. It's the only solution. It's what I've always done. Who'll know if I was here? I'm going to check. I'll find the woman who directed the play. I'll imagine the play. I call my wife Denise. I want to tell her what has happened and then burst into tears. I know she'll be sympathetic. I don't tell her. We talk for a few minutes and then I begin to feel nauseous and hang up. If I decide to tell the lie, what am I going to do down here for 5 days? I lie down and then get up and trip over the jacuzzi again. If only I believed in God. Here is a moment tailor-made for prayer. I'm on my knees already. My first book, and I've screwed it up before writing a single word of it. God help me. I get up again and again trip over the jacuzzi. It's everywhere. That's the problem. It's none of the above. It's just there's too much stuff in my life. Too many projects, too much pressure, too much confusion, too many green jacuzzis. Fine, I'll move rooms. Action of some kind. I'll finish my script, clear the decks, get ready for the next storm. I move to a pair of rooms on the other side of the motel. There's plenty of room because no one's here. They were all here last weekend, enjoying themselves, making skeptical jokes and having atheistic sex, silent orgasms, none of that oh my God nonsense. All this while I toiled over my wretched script for MGM. I set up my computer and start to work on the script, thinking if I can just concentrate on one thing for an hour, this panic will subside. I'll stop feeling sick. But I can't, and it doesn't, and I don't. I keep going back to my stupidity, my lack of organization, the consequences. What if I lie about the play and get found out? Clearly no one in Dayton is going to like the book. Suppose someone reads it and busts me. He wasn't even down here for the show. He's an atheist and a liar. I remember reading about a reporter who wrote a touchingly realistic piece about teenage junkies, won a Pulitzer, and then someone discovered there were no teenage junkies. She'd made it all up. She was ruined. I'm ruined. This is the end. I lie on the bed and go to sleep. An hour or two later, I wake up feeling more optimistic. I've been punching myself in the head since I was 5. I've recovered before. I'll recover again. A nasty blow, down but not out. Now I think there's a time, but I just move a little bit ahead here.